My name is Gautam Khot. I work for Brigade REAP. REAP is an acronym for Real Estate Accelerator Program. We've been around, there you go. I hope you're not that cozy, okay? Not in each other's armpits anyway. Real Estate Accelerator Program, which was set up in 2016 and was the first venture of its kind back in Asia. Probably one of the first two or three in the world even, right? So over the last 6 years or so, we've been working with startups that are disrupting the space of real estate and construction. And I'm not going to talk about us a whole lot today. I'm going to talk about the problems. You know, every chance that I get or any of my colleagues from REAP get in a forum such as this, you know, we love to talk about the problems and how is technology basically can be a savior for that. So how are we doing with coziness, right? If you look at some of the top cities in the world, the most, congested cities in the world, you look at Tokyo, Hong Kong, and New York. New York's at about 26,000 people per square mile. But look at the cities in India. Bangalore's actually just overtaken Delhi in terms of its density. And Mumbai is at a staggering 54,000 people per square mile. Now you would say that, is this something that is actually a problem only for the top metros in India? You're wrong. If you look at tier 2 cities like Jaipur or Coimbatore, right? Even they are kind of pushing at 17, 18,000 per square mile. Urbanization is something that we just have to live with. It is something that is here to stay forever. And we basically have to acknowledge it and see how we can make our own lives, that much better. Can we really get cozy in a good way instead of an uncomfortable fashion? I'm going to touch upon 3 problems today, which have a lot of bearing on the kind of work that we do at Brigade REAP. And in general, if you live in a house, which I'm guessing most of you do, or all of you do, or if you live in an office, we are all basically a part of the problem. And here is our opportunity to be a part of the solution as well, right? The first problem I want to touch upon is water scarcity. India has almost 20% of the world's population, but has access to only 4% of water resources, potable water. It's a massive problem. Now, it is a problem that is just not going to be wished away, We could do all our activism individually, but unless there is a concerted type of an effort from all the powers that be, it is impossible for us to come to terms with the scale of this problem. 21, count that, okay? 21 major Indian cities are at risk of running completely dry. Chennai, which is right next to the ocean, had a problem as recently as 2019, right? And it is something that, can we do something about it? It is something that I'm hopefully going to be touching upon very quickly. Second problem is that of sewage mistreatment, right? Did you know that almost 3/4 of all the sewage that India generates actually is not treated before it is let out into stormwater drains and lakes? That picture that you see at the back is Bilandur Lake, okay? And it is not a one-off phenomenon. It is something that is happening pretty much regularly, where lakes are actually catching fire. Now, you might not see fire many times in lakes, but you can bet your year's salary that there's a lot of effluents going there. You look at a lake and you know that there's a lot of foam, there's a lot of hyacinth buildup, etc. That is something that is also a problem. Sewage is something that we all contribute to, like it or not, and it is something that we are not. Most of us are actually not even aware of what is the solution to this problem. It's all a waste. The real estate industry alone basically contributes to 1/3 of all the solid waste that the world generates. Okay, we are guilty as an industry and as consumers, right? If you look at the average daily waste that we generate in this country, it's 160,000 tons. And it is actually growing by leaps, and it's growing exponentially, believe it or not. Bangalore has grown to almost 1,800% from 15 years ago in the amount of waste that we generate in this city. New Delhi, NCR, is at about 2,100%, right? And the picture that you see at the back, if you've ever driven from Noida back into Delhi, I'm sure some of you have, take a moment and look to your left, and there's this landfill called Gazipur, right? And it is an absolutely poisonous area to be around. You look at the thousands of kites flying up there, and it's a nightmare. So what is it, right? I mean, urbanization is it's a good thing, but it's also an ill that is not going away. And this is a topographic map of Bangalore. You look at 1973 and what we have. This is as late as 2020. Bangalore is still rated as one of the green cities in India, but this is what we've done to this city as well, right? And this is, if you look at any topographical map of any tier 1, tier 2 city in India, you'll see a lot of parallels here, right? Let's come to the problems, right? Almost 40% of all carbon dioxide that the world generates comes from the built environment, okay? So let's make sure that we acknowledge that as a problem. 35% of all waste is coming from buildings. I already told you, 1/3 of the waste is from the build, whether it is the waste that we generate on a daily basis, or it is construction and demolition waste. When you're excavating for building roads, when you're excavating for building skyscrapers or hotels like these, where does all that stuff go? Think about it. 20% of all water consumption is from the built environment. We're not talking agriculture, we're not talking industry, we're only talking about the built world, okay? Energy, if I'm spending 100 rupees per unit in this building, I can actually be very, very confident that about 30% of it is wasted, okay? Now, that is our job. We need to show the occupiers that you're actually losing money because you're not being efficient. It is not something that needs to be on your marketing brochure. It needs to be something that you need to act on because it's actually going to give you some money back, right? Air quality is poor outside, but you'll be surprised that it's 5 times worse inside. And it's not a knock on the hotel that we are in today. It is just the way it is, because of the ACs perhaps not getting serviced regularly, or it is carpeting like this that has a lot of micro dust, and it is something that we are painfully aware of as well. That was the genesis of Brigade REAP. These were the problems that we kind of thought that the industry needed solutions for, and hence REAP basically came into being in 2016. Yeah? We've got a startup in our portfolio called Smarter Dharma that has put a dollar value to the inefficiency in energy, water, and waste management. Just a single city of Bangalore alone stands to lose $2.5 billion over 15 years, all right? You look at the top 10, 20 cities in India, that's a staggering amount of money, and a staggering amount of money down the drain, right? So what we've done, I mean, it's most of you might not be from the world of construction, but some of you might be familiar. We've actually, for ease, I've just kind of classified a construction life cycle into 4 phases, from planning all the way to operations and marketing, right? Post handover. But if you look at the bottom, almost 40% of our portfolio of the 70 companies that we've mentored is squarely in the bracket of sustainability. Okay, whether it is Smarter Dharma, who basically did the research that I just alluded to, who basically come in in the planning phase, even before a single brick is laid, they help you choose the right kind of material that is going to help you run your buildings efficiently over the life cycle of that building. All the way to somebody like an Eco-STP, which uses anaerobic bacteria for sewage treatment. They've been a frequent guest at Jose's conferences, and they are saving hundreds of millions of liters of water because of the intervention that they're doing, and they're not using a single drop of diesel in the process, right? I think this is kind of relevant to the gathering today. What is possible? How is technology really helping the real estate industry function more efficiently? We've got a bunch of startups, and we've just kind of cherry-picked a few of them. If you look at somebody like a WeGot, they use IoT for monitoring every drop of water that goes into a house. And by doing that, they are able to save 30 to 40% of water. So that's not just water saved, but it's also the water expenditure. If you live in Bangalore, like most of us here do, we are spending a lot of money on tankers supplying water to us. Now, number one, you're paying, if your monthly expenditure in an apartment complex is 10,000 rupees, you're probably paying 5,000 to 6,000 rupees on water alone. On top of that, you don't even know whether the water is safe to drink. How safe is it? What kind of contamination does it have, right? Look at, I already mentioned Eco-STP, but Pothole Raja, extremely, beautiful name. Everybody knows Pothole Raja they're kings of potholes, they fix potholes. But what they're doing now is they are using 100% recycled plastic-based grid mats that they've created for road construction. right? Now, not only are they putting plastic to good use, but they are literally capturing carbon, which does not require as much excavation, cost is less, and your roads are durable, which might not work very well for some powers that be, but it is something that goes on forever then. Real estate developers have been notoriously slow in embracing technology, but that is where we are able to demonstrate that by looking at these technologies closely, you are actually able to, if you look at the numbers in the middle, and this is a case study of a pretty well-known developer here in Bangalore, uh, your top line profit has gone up by 40 rupees. And that is something that most people are really enthusiastic about, and we are seeing a lot of embracing of technology lately. My last couple of slides, it's a quick snapshot of what we do. We've mentored 66 companies. There are 3 more that are in the current cohort. We believe in longevity. Startups need to be around forever. They need to not be a flavor of the day type of an organization, especially in the space that we are all in. And they need to be successful in the long term. My name is Gautam, and I'm at Gkhot at Twitter.